Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dive into a world that's pretty much all around us, but mostly invisible, the world of cyber attacks. We're going to show you how they actually work, and maybe more importantly, how the attackers think.
So, how does a hacker think? It's a great question, right? Because look, if you want to understand how to protect yourself and your information online, you first have to get inside the mind of an attacker. And it's not about magic or some super complex code. It's about strategy, psychology, and just finding the easiest way in.
All right, so first things first, let's just define what a cyber attack even is. I mean, we hear that term thrown around all the time, but what's it really about? At its core, it's a hostile act. Simple as that. In plain English, someone is trying to get into your digital spaces, we're talking your accounts, your computer, your phone, without permission. And they're usually there to steal your info, cause some damage, or maybe even demand money.
Honestly, the best way to wrap your head around it is to think of it like a digital burglary. Seriously, the fundamental ideas are exactly the same. You've got valuables, you've got locks, and you've got people trying to get past those locks. The only difference is the house, the doors, and all the valuables, they're all digital.
And this comparison really shows you the parallels, right? A burglar in the real world might go around jiggling doorknobs, looking for an unlocked door. A hacker, they're doing the exact same thing, just digitally. They're looking for those vulnerabilities, and you'd be surprised how often the biggest one is just a simple human mistake. Okay, so let's get into the attacker's playbook, because this isn't just random digital chaos, you know? It's a methodical, planned-out operation. It has distinct stages, just like in any good heist movie. And pretty much every single attack, I don't care if it's hitting a massive corporation or just one person's email, follows these three basic steps. First, they plan. Then, they attack. And finally, they do the damage. Now, the planning phase is actually super interesting when you think about the psychology behind it. It is all about finding the path of least resistance. Attackers are efficient. Why would they spend weeks trying to break down some digital fortress if there's an open window right next to it? They wouldn't. And this is a really key point to understand. They aren't always going after the big fish, the CEO of some massive company. Sometimes, the easiest way into that company is through a regular employee's less secure personal account. And that is exactly why everyday users are such frequent targets. So, the big question is, how do they find that unlocked digital door? You're probably picturing these incredibly complex hacking tools, right? But the reality? It's often way, way simpler. In fact, a lot of the time, we're the ones who open the door for them, without even realizing it. I mean, just look at some of these common mistakes. Clicking on a suspicious link. Using that unsecured public Wi-Fi at the coffee shop. Choosing a weak or reused password. Ignoring those security updates. Do any of these sound familiar? These aren't high-tech exploits. They are simple habits that are basically the digital equivalent of leaving your front door wide open. Let's talk about one of the most common methods out there, phishing. You got to think of it like a trap. An attacker sends you a deceptive email or text. Maybe it's pretending to be your bank or a delivery service. And it's all designed to trick you into clicking a bad link or giving away your password. Okay, here's another classic. You're at an airport and you see a network called Free Airport Wi-Fi. You connect, not realizing an attacker set it up just for you. Now, everything you do online, every single password you type, every site you visit is completely visible to them. And then there's the old standby. Weak passwords. Come on, using something like password123 or your pet's name, that is not a lock. It's a welcome mat. Attackers have automated tools that can literally guess millions of these simple passwords in seconds. Which brings us to probably the most important part of this whole explainer. We've seen how they plan and the simple methods they use. But the real question is why? In a world of such advanced technology, why do these basic tricks still work so incredibly well? The answer, well, it's the single most crucial concept to grasp in all of cybersecurity. And it has very little to do with technology. It has everything to do with us. Just look at this data. A staggering 82% of successful cyber breaches involve a human element. It's not the code that breaks, it's a person who clicks the wrong link, uses a weak password, or just falls for a scam. The system can be practically perfect, but we are the backdoor. And that's the whole ballgame right there. Attackers are not just exploiting software, they are exploiting human nature, our curiosity, our trust, our desire for convenience. They are, at their core, expert manipulators. So what this really means is that the power to stop these attacks isn't just in the hands of security experts, it's in all of our hands.
Simply understanding their playbook and knowing how to recognize the traps is your single strongest defense.
And that, right there, is the biggest takeaway. The question isn't whether someone could get in, it's whether you've made it easy for them. So take a moment to think about your own online habits. Is your digital door truly locked, or is the key just sitting right there under the mat?